this beautiful day, this beautiful Florescence of the 15th Jinki. And today we are on the transmission of the 15th Jinki that I'm giving in a very small container because it's like spontaneous activation for me and my beloved, but whoever will watch online, these also benefit from it because it's special key. And I know I'm saying this about almost every key because each of them is truly special and unique and has its own secrets and flavors and mystery. But this one, the 15th, is it's showing the journey of recognizing a God within the human form. It's showing how it is to be human and search for the divinity. It's showing that the true essence of our spirit is always shining, and even in a hell, you can still remain the light and being untouchable. This is very mysterious key. This is a key that I would say holds secrets of humanity and a portal of transmutation and a secret here of what does it mean to be human and what does it mean to transmute your frequency. And for me, this key, in fact, is the quantum key. Like, if you want to understand what does a quantum leap means, if you want to understand what is a quantum reality, just listen this transmission and embody this Jinki, because this is truly quantum energy, and the move from shadow to gift and to CD, it's absolutely not linear way, and every key, you know, the move from shadow to gift and to CD is a quantum leap. But like I would say, what this key is showing us and its transformational journey is absolutely the quantum leap, and also the quantum reality and the law of manifestation and anything that we know in accordance to this topic. So this key is truly holds the secrets. You know, like this book Secret, I'm sure most of you know that this book I read this book like maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. That's like kind of a book of manifestation and all these things. And I would say that all the secrets, they are in the 15th Jinki itself. So welcome, who's gonna watch online, who's watching it in recording. Take a cup of tea if you want, as I'm enjoying my tea. And let's get cozy.
And me too.
Let's get cozy and enjoy the mission.
Cheers.
So the 15th Jinki of Florescence, of Magnetism, the shadow Dullness, the gift Magnetism, and the CD is Florescence. The codon ring of seeking the God, seeking your true nature. The physiology is a liver. And this key itself is, as I said, is a portal for transformation. And of course, as always, we start with the shadow. So first we need to understand the shadow, we need to understand how it works, so we can transmute it into the higher frequency. Or we will see itself what this transformational path means. And why your screen is shaking? Do you have earthquake or what?
No, I kicked my table.
Okay. So the dullness. Well, I would say if you are in a shadow frequency of this key and you are identified with the shadow, you fucked. Because it's one of the most like kind of terrible shadow if you identified with it and if that's what you believe who you are. And at the same time, the shadow is a portal for like realization of your true nature, or let's say the portal of humanity. When I was preparing today and also listening and connecting with this energy, what came to me is the image of Jesus in a desert when it was like his last initiation, where in a way he met a devil, and like went through hell to realize the true essence of God itself. And this is for me what this key is when you come through hell but you remain untouched as you are your true nature, as you are the light and you know what the truth is. But to get there is a journey. So I'm gonna take you on this journey today through this 15th Jinki. Are you ready?
Yeah.
My main Jinki fan. So stuck in dullness, as I said, is pretty terrible, as all you see is repetition, as all you see is like every day is the same. And I would say a lot of the people, they just live in dullness, as like you wake up in the same time in the morning, you have the same ritual, you go to work, for example, you work 8 hours a day, 5 days you work, 2 days you have weekends, and every day the same repetition, the same pattern. And of course, then it's very understandable, like it's very normal that then we want to have fun when we have weekends, or like kind of distract ourselves from the dullness. But what really we can do with dullness, how we can transmute the dullness? Can we really become a dullness to help it activate the true essence of who we are? Do we need to avoid dullness, or we can activate the magic of dullness and let this magic show us the true nature of ourselves and reality? And yes, let's just feel into dullness. And in a shadow level, I would say it can lead you to depression. It's suffering from being stuck in the same pattern, repeating it over and over and over again, and not being able to change it. Reminds me of this like a story of one sec, I need to have a little pause. Yes, all good. So as I said, the dullness is repeating the same pattern over and over again and being not able to change it and just being completely stuck. Reminds me of this like tale or myth, the myth of a character who been punished for something. I don't remember what exactly, but his punishment was to roll.
Sisyphus.
Yes, to roll a stone to the top of the mountain, and then it goes down, and then he had to.
The myth of Sisyphus.
Okay, maybe you know it and you can share with us.
I only know it because I'm Greek, so I have to know of this.
Okay, please share.
Oh, it's Sisyphus is like you said, it's condemned to. Honestly, I don't know remember the story, but it's he. As always with the Greek mythology, there is the dilemma is normally a human being that's kind of tries to go against the fundamental laws in the universe, which are the gods, right? The gods represent the law, and in virtue of him betraying, whoever knows the story probably will be laughing, but yeah, whoever is betraying the law. I will say it more from a bird's eye view, that if you betray the law, like the natural law, well, then like by the law of karma, you will face your punishment in a way, your karma. And in this case, yeah, Sisyphus had to go through the cycle of the eternal, essentially stuck in the eternal suffering of his own kind of making. Yeah, that's what I will say.
Thank you. So let's see how he could, if he would know the Jinki's wisdom, what he could do to transmute his karma.
Yeah.
Yes. And now I would say honestly that I would say till this day, I probably didn't fully understand this key. I mean, of course, I know it and I felt it and some depths in it, but in a way, today I felt it even deeper because of just a lot of transformational journey that happened within last years and last year especially with my beloved. And you might know him.
Cheers.
And and like when we're stuck in the same pattern, it sucks. It's a suffering, and so we felt like it's helpless. We're helpless. We can't do anything, and it's just like like a punishment or like karma or how you call this, like when you get bad magic from somebody, like
evil eye.
Yeah, or like even in a worse way.
Curse.
Yeah, like a curse. And this is what the dullness is. But at the same time, the dullness is the most beautiful state if we know how to be with it and if we know how to transmute it. It's like, it's paradoxic how something that's so terrifying in a way can be a portal for the absolute bliss. And that's why this key is the most human key of all of them. This is a love to humanity. Itself, by the meaning of this key, it means like it's a love to humanity. It's a love not only to be human, but to love all the forms of human nature, of all the species, like all the dimensions. It's this key, it absolutely loves everything. Different form of beings, different qualities. It can love the most, like, let's say, ordinary people. It can find a magic in their something that looks absolutely boring, or somebody. It can see the beauty in their in the ugliness. It's in something ugly. It can just absolutely love all forms of existence. That's why on a Siddhi level, this key is a key of Bodhisattva, because it's just like absolute love and compassion. It doesn't judge anything. It's know that everything is a form of life, a form of God. Everything has its role, its part in existence, even if it's like the devil or like the entities, whatever. It's all part of life. It's all part of nature. It's all part of existence. So the 15th Jinki is just full of love to, as I said, all forms of life itself. And just 1 second. And on a shadow level, it's depression, it's rage, it's violence, almost suicidal qualities even can be in the shadow of the key. It's like when you completely give up on yourself, when you completely give up on life. Why the dullness, in a way, it's the hardest frequency of feeling to transmute, because when you're in a dullness, it's lack of any motivation. It's like it's when you give up. You don't even fight anymore. You don't have any energy to fight. You don't have any reason to fight. You don't have any faith. You don't have anything. You think that you don't have anything value to fight for, or to live for, and that's why it's hard to transmute this shadow in a way when you identify with the shadow, because you don't have even a motivation within to transmute it. I would say you feel so down that you just completely give up on it. You like don't care in a way. You think of like that you absolutely don't care of your own life and existence, and that like nothing matters for you. This is how deep the dullness can go. And yeah, and then we see people who go to doctors and they give them antidepressants. Well, in fact, the dilemma, I would say, is in the chemistry of this key. If you know how to work with the chemistry of this key, you will be able to transmute even the hardest qualities. But let's not make it very like dark. The way I say about this sounds like it's very dark. The dullness exists in a way only in a human nature also, because we have to have neocortex to experience dullness. Because as I said, dullness is a repetition. But let's say the dog who can sit like at the same spot every day for hours, and it doesn't feel dullness, it doesn't feel dull, it just doesn't have this self-reflection mechanism to think that it's repeating something, because it's just always in the present moment. So, like for example, animal kingdom cannot feel dull because it's not in their awareness. They don't have the neocortex that can be activate the self-reflection process that we human has. So in a way, our awareness and our neocortex is a blessing and a curse, because we can use our mind to reach the higher states of being, or we can bring ourselves to hell. This is all within this jinki. And when we look in the dullness also, what's interesting that it's not even like, it's not an extreme, it's not like extreme bad qualities, for example, as we can think. If we will look really in the dullness is just like nothingness. It's lack of any polarities. In fact, the dullness is between the polarities, because it doesn't have any magnetic quality in it. The gift, when we will move to give the magnetism, we will see how it's activating of magnetic nature that attracts everything towards you, everything that supports your life and your dharma. But in shadow, it's like playing. It's where nothing even can be attracted. It's don't have any magnetic qualities that attract life towards you. So it's when we don't have, let's say, when you don't have the dance of polarities of like feminine, masculine, Shiva and Shakti, then it's what the dullness is. So how does it feel for you?
Feels not so great. Yeah, the dullness, I think it's the key of depression. I definitely feel like there is, like you said, when you go into the depression, they even have the D, the D sound, the dullness. It shuts down our cortex, prefrontal cortex. It makes us like lose our kind of like path, our structure, or it kind of make us feel useless. I was actually watching yesterday one Buddhist monk he was on this Diary of a CEO with which rarely there is monks on this show, but he brought one on, and it's funny because he was very much talking about how his life was like without like he was like suffocated in like negativity. Like first it starts with patterns that don't allow us to get like move in a way, and the movement, the pathway to build the channels, these are so important. For example, even yesterday, just going out for a walk was like the simple but the best thing that the soul could have received in that moment, because otherwise I was starting to feel like this dullness was definitely hijacking the mind. And I think also we've all gotten so used to dullness as a default, because in a way, if the like, not to speak of gift and city yet, but like let's say we're in accordance with the nature, with what is the kind of natural world, we wouldn't be in dullness or suffering. But because we've like disconnected, and we refuse to actually reconnect because we're convinced that there's more joy through suffering, it's we're in this darkness.
And this is, in fact, thank you for sharing the key for liberating from, not from the dullness, but transmuting the dullness, or being transmuted by the dullness. Because what this key is showing, that it's not about shadow, it's about your attitude. And I would say working with this key is kind of when you're being, let's say, taken by hell, but instead of, when you transmute this key, instead of drawing, or like you let the hell take you, but within it you opening your fluorescence nature, is what this transformational path is. And That's why they said that in fact only Bodhisattva can do this, to go into hell and to not be taken by it. And I will share later more about this when we go to different city. And in a way, this key is, as I said, it's not the shadow, it's our reaction on it. It's not what we experience, because if we look in the nature, you know, like the dullness is everywhere there. It's like the dullness is repetition. And if we see the cycle of life, how like plants grow and they die and then new ones grow, how animal life exists, it's all dullness. It's the patterns that repeats themselves. It's built on patterns. But the nature, because it's not like this, let's say the animal and plant kingdom, because there is no neocortex there of self-awareness, they don't experience this as dullness. The birds, you know, we had the birds who built a nest, like you, when you try to destroy the nest 3 times and they've been coming back to the same spot and building a nest over and over again. You know, they don't have this, oh, the life is so unfair to me. I've built this nest, I put all my efforts and this fucking guy destroyed, or why it happens, or maybe the life want to tell me something. Like, no, they just come and build because they're driven by the life force within. They want to have nests, they feel it's safe place, they want to make babies simple. They don't think that the bad karma or the gods are not like favor to them, or like I don't know, like why it's not working, and all this question that we human would think in the same, in kind of familiar situation, we will go so much into this thinking process when and sometimes it's just life. The life also experiences itself, and like it was you who didn't want the nest be there, and then it was me who said let it be because it's a blessing from life, and then we had like babies, like the bird babies, and it just was life experiencing itself. And because birds, they didn't have this like self-awareness, they didn't suffer from this, they just build again, and then they build second nest on the tree. So this is like you want to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and that's why I said the key for this key is attitude. And that's why I said this key is quantum, because whenever I say about quantum reality or like creator codes and all these things, or even gene keys, I always say we create life from the state, or that the attitude is familiar with the state, because the attitude is how we respond on something. And in fact, that our attitude creates a reality, that what this Jinky is saying, create an outcome, a result in the material world. But what is the attitude, or a state of your being? And when we discover this through this key, we realize that it's not your mind, even if it can be represented through a thinking process. And it's not even in your subconsciousness, as it goes even beyond your subconsciousness patterns and beliefs. It's deeply rooted in your psychology and the chemistry of your body, how hormone system works, and deeper it's a response of your spirit. And whenever we act not from a spirit, we would feel dullness. Dullness would be simply a mechanism to show that we're not in alignment right now. That, and then there's the suffocation is coming, because when we don't act from a spirit, or we can say soul or higher self. We, in a way, we bring distortion to our own frequency, to our body, to our energy system, and our system responds from contraction as contraction. And it's lower our frequency, and then we feel worse, we feel like more negative emotion and thoughts, and they create a new loop, then bringing us even deeper and deeper down. And then we try to solve it, or to solve it through our mind, to find solutions. But what we have to do is reconnect with spirit and act from the spirit. That's what we call alignment. That's what I also teach in the creator codes. That I remember, in fact, what's funny, because you know, like the SG, who was the student of this, I remember recently I saw her post, and when she went to this event, that was one of her steps to build her dream timeline. And then she shared the photos, and the capture was, it's not about time, it's about alignment. Like, it's not about how much time or efforts you put into building something. It's about alignment. You can spend thousands of hours, energy, money on building something, but if it's not comes from your spirit, and if it's not fulfills your dharma, and if it's not from your heart, then it's, in a way, it's going to be useless, and it will not give you anything in return, because it will just bring more and more contraction. When we act from a spirit, a small step that we take from a spirit is activating huge resonance effect, that bringing our, let's say, dream reality, or like our destiny, to us much faster and closer than thousands of actions we try to make from our mind. That's why I said this is quantum key. You never will be, you never can understand from a logical linear mind how the quantum reality works, because logic, it's tried to, you know what's funny, because the logic, it tries to identify the pattern that will work, and if you repeat it through time, like you do, like which actions you need to do to be safe in the future. But this mechanism itself is what creating unsafety, because it's coming from fear and not trust to the life and to your own spirit. And any action that comes from not alignment with the spirit and not trusting your spirit is creating a dullness and bringing your frequency down. That's why I said it's a loop, because if you're not acting from alignment, you're creating a loop that will drain you physically, energetically, and there will be no, how to say, solution until you reconnect with spirit again. And the smallest action from a spirit is what will activate, like create a portal, and will activate a tremendous, like a torus, a magnetic field, that the bioresonance that will bring to you your destiny, like your dream reality and everything you need. So again, it's not about how much actions and time you put into something, creating something, or like in your life or whatever. It's about right action in the right time, in alignment with your soul. That's the only thing that works. And in fact, as we now, like last, let's say, years, we all hear about this like transformation of humanity, 5D and everything. In a way, the matrix itself is changing, because before the matrix was existed on a 3D level, when in a 3D reality, you're based on fear. It's a linear reality, where in 5D, it's a quantum reality. So what was not possible before, or was possible only for what we call masters or saint people. So who were before the masters or gurus or saint people? Those who break from the matrix, from the 3D concept of reality to higher frequency, let's say, to whatever we call it, 5D, 4D, whatever, like 7, 11, 12, like let's say dimensions of high consciousness. So they break from or through, break through this 3D concept and activated the higher potential of the spirit itself. And we call them masters because their consciousness stabilized in that higher form, and that this person itself will create in a torus, a magnetic field that of course will attract in everything, because this person was acting like a torus system itself, like in a way becoming a god. That's what we called gurus before. But what's happening now is that we all going into 5D. It's not like one or two guru for humanity. The matrix itself is changing. The resonance of Schumann that's connect with Jinki is changing, that allow to all of us become in a way guru, not for anybody else, but for ourselves, become common to alignment with life. That means that the old strategy of living, they will be absolutely not working in your reality. If like before, the reality more supported people who were like acting from a fear and linear perspective. Now the life itself is not supporting it anymore. The life itself is showing that if you want to kind of be happy, healthy, alive, and like, you know, live your destiny right now, like in the new conditions, you have to change. Because conditions are self, the frequency of Gaia changing, rising and rising. That means that that means, like, let's say, if we go deeper, all the knowledge, everything that humanity created for centuries before, this all not going to be useful anymore. Because it was created for a previous matrix, for a previous way of consciousness, how it was working, and their conditions, let's say, and in a way laws, but they're not sustainable anymore. The conditions changed. We aren't just humans in the process of realizing that it's changed already and that it's keep changing, and we have to now act, making these quantum leaps if we want to move with this kind of speed of life and be in alignment and connected with our own soul. I remember once one of my also teachers and others, she said something very beautiful quote that stayed in me and affected the way how I perceive the reality. And I will say it right now. It's I will first say in Russian, because in Russian it sounds more like a line. When I asked about some questions, she said, "Успех" means успеть за своей душой. And if we translate, it will be success, that in our language, успех, it means to succeed and or go with the speed of your soul. And when I realized that, like really realized, not just like thought, but I felt, okay, but what speed my soul wants to? My soul is moving with a very high speed. So if I want to kind of, at the time I realized, if I want to be successful in this lifetime, it doesn't mean like how much money I have or like business or like whatever, family, but how I'm in alignment with myself, and then everything come from this. Then I have to move with the speed of my soul. That means that I have to take care of my body. I have to be able to conduct this high frequency. That's why I need all this, because the speed of my soul is fast, and I have to be able to conduct this. Otherwise, I will be out of alignment. And of course, then no matter what I do out of alignment, I never will be happy. And so then the self-work is not for any external reasons, but just for a reason to be able to be in alignment with my soul, that like big and fast and like kind of radical. That's why I had to like had to do all this work, because my soul is had a big mission this lifetime, and my personality had to like run fast to to yeah, to come to this let's say alignment, being able to move with the speed of my soul, of my being. And yeah, maybe you want to say something or ask something, or share how do you feel?
Yeah, I resonate with everything you've said. It's all, it's I think like very almost obvious key, because it's simple. It's like you're either gonna be a crybaby about something or and sulk in it like a child, or you will take command of your life. This is for me the reflection of this key. It's like you will do things for yourself, or you will do things for others and then sulk that you didn't do anything for yourself. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, so let's come back to what the attitude, as I said, it's not your mind, it's not even your subconsciousness, it's spirit, it's your DNA. And it's also how your DNA respond into life in the circumstances, not circumstances, or environment. That's why environment is so much important, because our environment is also determines in a way who we are. And to be fully who we are, as you remember our conversation recently, I said I have to be where the talents of my soul can be useful, where I can make something from this. Because if I'm in the wrong environment, no matter how genius I am, it will be useless. That's why it's also not only important to like understand your gifts and talents, but also being in the environment. That means like people, that means place, like surroundings, where you can share truly, and where it's useful, where there is an alignment, where it can be received. And then when you can really share it and create from it, and there is the right supportive environment for this. That's also what this key is showing us, this kind of reflection of everything. And that there is our DNA, and also response of our DNA to the life itself, to what we say our environment. And so if we want to change this key, we have to change our attitude, or our state of being, let's say. And in fact, I took some quotes for myself. Just give me a sec. I want to read something. I remember something that I Yeah, in fact, I shared this, and yeah, in a way that the life itself, the being human itself, is living in a paradox of different frequencies, and how we hear in this like ocean of different forms of life and frequencies, and the conflicts itself, because there is forces and energies that brings us up to heaven, and there are forces and energies that wants to bring us down, and being human is figure out your path through it. And then why we say that it's in dullness, because the dullness is our reaction to it. The dullness is our reaction to fear, because as I said, there is our attitude that will determine our reality, because it can be two people who are in the same circumstances, this like having, for example, the same experience, but their own feelings about this and attitude is absolutely different. I also like what it said about attitude, or state that it's a memory that connects microcosm and microcosm. Yeah, and it's something that is programmed deep in our DNA. And if we will look deeper into the dullness, what happens if we will try not to avoid and not to fight with it, but we will just stay in it? Because deeper, any shadow is a dullness, because a shadow comes as a reaction on fear, and dullness is a fear of fear itself. And there is something also beautiful. I remember I heard, or I read this long time ago in one book, don't remember what exactly, but that deeply landed in me, that we don't afraid of fear. We are afraid of a fear of our fear. Like, we don't afraid, for example, of fear of death, or fear of, I don't know, whatever, claustrophobia, being stuck in a small place, or fear of spiders, or whatever fear. We don't afraid of exactly fear, but we react on the frequency of fear. It's a fear of the feeling of fear itself, because to feel the fear means to be in a dullness, because fear is what brings us immediately to 3D reality that based on fear, that based on a reaction, because in a fear there is only automatic reaction, the instinct, in which we lost connection with the spirit, because when this hormone level is activated so strong in our system that we losing the awareness, and we act not in alignment, but we act from like an instinct that in fact can lead us to wrong decisions, and to making decisions and steps that not even helpful for us, but in fact is like kind of bringing our path to a wrong way. And let's say if the fear is that lower frequency, then is it possible to stay with the fear itself? And if we would really go on like the absolute transmutation of this shadow on a mystical level of this key, then we would say that it requires to stay with this dullness so long that it will lose any effect on you. And that reminds me of an experience one I had in ayahuasca, when in fact my intention was to release all the fear from my system, to go beyond the fear, the frequency of fear, to embody the love, the love itself that is beyond fear. And oh my God, little did I know what it will require from me, that experience. But it was it was deep. It was sitting for hours and feeling the fear that was not even the fear of death, but it's just the vibration itself that makes the system been shaking. The dullness is a reaction on fear itself, like the frequency of fear. And if we can stay with this frequency, in fact, as I said before in the beginning, if we can let the dullness kind of take us in, if we can surrender to it, then we will see that dullness is opening a fluorescence for us. And it's the key that literally in shadow level can lead us to depression, because it's a feeling of nothing makes sense, because nothing really makes sense. It's in a way Buddhistic essence of life is meaningless and it's empty. And if we perceive it from a shadow and from the fear, then realization that life is empty is making us, being in a dullness, is making us either contract and freeze and don't want to act and don't want to do anything because it's like it's meaningless. Then what's even the point to try? Kind of I can just like lay down and die because it doesn't have any meanings. Or to be in the reaction and like do try to like fulfill yourself, have more actions, something like that will kind of activate you, or like more colors, more experiences, more food, more flavors, anything that will kind of give you some meaning, or this like a hope that you can fulfill the inner void by external meanings and avoid the dullness. So, and this keeps showing that dullness is dullness, life is meaningless, and that's it. There's nothing you can do with it, and nothing you even need to do with it. All you need is just to stay with it. And if you stay enough with this feeling of emptiness, then you will see how it transmutes itself into the magnetism. Then when you act, not because your mind created a goal for you or some external meanings and reasons, but you act, you do something because you cannot not to do, because this is how the life wants to express yourself through right now. In fact, when we come to this, the gift, the magnetism, the state of being, we're realizing how it's like in a way stupid we were before, because we've tried to figure out a life that doesn't even have to be figured out. It's impossible to figure it out because it doesn't have any purpose and there is no meaning in all it. And when we fully surrender and instead of reacting on this, we in a way felt it from an open heart, we see a beauty in it, we see a freedom in it, and we see that you can just be you and live and do what your heart tells you to do, and that's it. That there is no meanings or reasons. There is no reason anymore for your action. There is no like a why in a way. The only why is because it has to happen, because it's how God expressed itself through you in that exact moment. And then you, in a way, you can't be pulled in all this, again, the matrix where you have to have goals, you have to have a motivation, you have to build your career, you have to like market yourself right, or like whatever your business, you have to have all these meanings, when the higher frequency of this key, it doesn't have any meanings, but the life can be full and you still can do a lot of things if this is part of your dharma. But You don't need any reasons for it. You don't need any meanings for it. You don't need like a goals for the next 5 years so you can be productive and can motivate your mind. Otherwise, you can't act and you're stuck. No, that's like let's say this most uncomfortable sensations of the shadow is what holds a key for your freedom and liberation. That's how I would say about this key. And I would love to hear now your contemplations about this if you're still listening to me.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. It's definitely something that we kind of have to overcome our tendencies to try and fill a void. I'm confused about with this key is so if I understand correctly, we have to try and like act according to what is authenticity, what is like our soul choosing, but at the same time, avoid doing things just to avoid being ourself in a way. And can you maybe
I think I didn't
fill in the
understand.
blanks?
Can you say it a bit differently? Because I think I didn't understand, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't hear you now. Maybe because you move in a word.
What I'm trying to understand the difference between like acting for the sake of your soul versus like acting is like your logic. When you're acting from your logic according to this key.
Are you here?
Oh.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. I just don't hear you.
Yeah. I went, the signal went, but what is did you hear my question?
No.
I was saying like, what's the difference between like logic, like doing something just logically and doing things like in what's the difference between doing things logically and in alignment, or what, like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I'm just not sure what is like when is the brain in the shadow? When is it? Because we're talking a lot about mind. Like, when are we in shadow in terms of the brain? Because how do we make?
When we try to figure out something, when we try to find a meaning, when we try to create a path for our mind, when we avoid the discomfort, because this is also what this key is about. The dullness is like, it's being in a comfort. It's not going to fear. It's not going to unknown territory. It's staying in a comfort zone. It's staying with what's comfortable for you. And not choosing to be provoked, not choosing to be in maybe situations that first seems for you like not so nice, and it triggers some emotions in you. I feel also that this key is so paradoxical that like there is no real and even an answer to this question, because of course, like on a relative level, any action that made from a mind, or from like when you have even reason to do something, it still will be also part of the dullness, because in a deeper sense, when you really act from your spirit, you act not because you kind of need to, or you have any reasons, like the logical reasons, they come after. Like, for example, I do something that my soul called me to do, and yes, as a result, it can bring me money, or it can bring right connections, or it can whatever do something for me. But in the first place is that I do it because I cannot not to do, because it's like it's moving through me. But also because like the human spirit, normal, like let's say the human spirit is usually so sophisticated within a human person that we don't feel normally the real impulses of our spirit moving through us. That's why we try to find all these like motivations, all this like extra something, because we're just not in the present moment. In every moment we somewhere else. We're thinking, we're planning, we're spending life in our mind instead of truly living it from our body and from the source and from the heart and from the spirit itself. We're more thinking about our life than really living this life, being in this life. And in fact, all we're doing is try to avoid the life and avoid the dullness. That's why I said the dullness in a way is like, it's like they say the most uncomfortable shadow, but this is also the one that liberates you, because when you're able to stay in the most terrifying discomfort that this frequency gives you, and let it transmute it yourself, going beyond the fear, because it's not dullness or shadow that we afraid. It's our fear that we afraid. It's our reaction that we afraid. It's like for example, how Richard Roth said that, of course, like when, for example, the weather is changing and like the rainy days are coming, yeah, we will feel naturally the response in our biochemistry. It's normal. It's like how our body responds. But will we, in a way, identify with this or not, is what we can choose. It's not also try to avoid this response of our body, but can we be with all this and being beyond at the same time these reactions, being beyond even the biological response of your body, knowing that you're not your hormones, you're not your mind, you're not your psycho level, you're beyond all of this. And just reminds me of what we spoke with Alexei, like that it's kind of information we exchange with life, and that the Kundalini is like the energy, the spirit itself. And the spirit, when we act from spirit, why I say alignment, that's it doesn't have external reasons. It's acting because it's what comes through. It's like you came, for example, here to build the house, and you build the house because it's what you came here for. It's like reminds me of what we spoke today when I said like it's my nature to be a Shakti. I can't be anybody else. I can't. It's like it's a nature. It's the nature of my soul, the essence. And it's like when I connect with myself, this is what's naturally coming, because like I can't be anything else. If I let go all the like ideas and like mind and structures and everything, that what is left is what it is what my soul is, what like, and what my soul wants to create and to build. But it can be absolutely not what my mind think about this. And but the funniest thing, that then when we connect with the soul is opening for us these quantum portals where the things happening so like in a different way, faster, and kind of in a resonance, that our mind will ever never ever being able to imagine this path, because the mind cannot predict the pathways of the soul in this like quantum leaps. They're absolutely beyond mind logical understanding. That's why like really living from your soul is dying and like kind of rebirthing in every moment. It's not trying to create any image of you, but being the mystery itself. Did I answer to your question or not?
Oh, it was very good. I really enjoyed that answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like this key for me is it's like this is it kind of. That's, I remember when I watched this like the Mahadev movie a long time ago, and there was like the Parvati and her journey, and when there was like one beautiful message there, as when she saved a Scorpio. I told this story already. When she saved a Scorpio from the water, and even he bited her, and then she still saved it. And then her mother asked like, "But why you did it?" It's like, he's biting. She said, "He's Scorpio. It's his nature to bite, and my nature is to compassion. My nature is to help for those who need help." And then her mother, who was against her marriage with their like Shiva, she reflected and she said, well, if she's Parvati and Shakti and her nature is to be wife of Shiva, like what I can do? Like we can't change somebody's nature. We can change personality, we can create new identity, we can build like new look differently as I do right now, but we can't change the essence. And if you ever touch your essence, and I'm sure you did, you know what it is. If you ever felt it, you can't really go away. Like your mind can try like and go to another way, but your essence, this flavor, this feeling will always bring you back, because when you really touch it, then anything else will be dullness for you. It will be empty, and you will know it. You won't be able to like undone it and to like forget, because when you really, let's like touch the source, the God, and like the real love, if you have experienced this, like anything else will be empty for you. Do you understand what I mean?
100%. Yeah, I would say it reminds me of like, you know, like from, not to speak from like ego, but you know, when, for example, I came back to Switzerland, I think we had this conversation last week, but on a different context. But when I came back to Switzerland, and after living a year in Bali and in India and Nepal, places where like for at least my soul is reflecting to me the absolute truth of my nature, my being. And just then being kind of like looking into a world that on paper is a more developed country, right? Like so much infrastructure, so much network connectivity, but not the real connectivity, but like artificial connectivity. But still on paper, like a lot of people believe this is the real deal. This is it. We are a super advanced society. But then
the top of humanity.
yeah, the top of the food chain on all of these things. But then just yeah, seeing the emptiness of it all, like how it almost looks like I don't know. For me, it reminded me almost of like when I was used to take psychedelics, and on the psychedelic journeys, mushrooms, whatever, LSD, I would literally just look and see how nothing was real to my awareness anymore. It started to look empty of essence, like you were saying, the essence. And yeah, wondering why this is so. I mean, you can say that, of course, like that might have been a shadow in a way, like I was experiencing dullness. But I think that's because, yeah, the soul was trying to point to something deeper. It was removing the layers of dullness that I was experiencing, and showing me, reminding me more of who I truly am. And I think we all, like, I think from what I understand from the gene keys is that everything, all the shadows are actually the doorway to the gift and the city. Like they are the way that you must experience that actually to kind of reconcile what is true and what's truly you. So I feel that, yeah, those moments of just dullness, and then those also these moments where I experience, yeah, like the emptiness, it's the way to actually become, to touch upon this transcendental kind of vibration of who we truly are, which is God, which is love, which is bliss. And yeah, so that's
Thank
what
you for
I'm
sharing.
experiencing.
Thank you for sharing. Yes, so just to finish with this part, and also with answering your question, that moving from alignment is just moving from your essence, from your soul, and then you don't even need, of course, sorry, what I wanted to say, you don't even need reasons. And of course, your mind can create reasons, and you can like kind of explain for yourself why, what, but deeper it's just because you are this and you can't be anything or anybody else, and this is just a natural way of how energy moves from you, how God plays itself through you and through uniqueness of your being, and deep you know that it can be anything else, and it's at this level. Even when God comes to this level, then I would say it's not even more any timelines or like things, because this is just this. It's just like it's expression of God through you when you are the God, and then it's no like it's no even choice. It's like once this one's choice made, then there is no many more choices, because it's like every moment creating itself and experiencing itself, and there's nothing that there's no thoughts in it, there's no like identity. The funniest thing that's when you truly become yourself, then you're not yourself anymore, because there is no identity anymore with it. There's no like you have an, oh, I'm Anthony, I'm this and this, and like I have this purpose in life, and think when you truly really live in yourself, you become yourself, you become empty. You don't have any more ideas of who you are. You just you. It's like a flower. You know, like that the roses know that they're roses, or they just like blossom because this is their nature and they can't do different. They
Yeah.
just like this, they made like this. And if you put them in the right environment and like give them a care, they would blossom. If you put them in a wrong environment, they would die. And this is like the simple as it can be. But it doesn't say that roses are good or bad. But if they're in their own environment, they will not blossom. Does it mean they're bad roses, or does it mean that it's not environment where the nature can be blossomed, can be in florescence?
Mm. Yeah, and that's basically, yeah, like similar to what I was just saying about the paradox of this existence is that it's real only insofar as you are like kind of still, whether you're in alignment or not with your essence, that's how real it will be. But the whole idea of reality itself kind of collapses in on itself when you start to really try and discover that. And yeah, it's quite, I'm interested, yeah, how this key, because I'm sure from the level of gift and like city, it kind of should transform our awareness to kind of reconcile that, the emptiness in a way, right? Otherwise it just sounds like existence, yeah, it doesn't have any meaning in a way. But I think that's the opposite of what this key is saying. This key is saying is that there's plenty of existence here and plenty of reality, but it's about also yeah, harmonizing our nature, our frequency with that.
Yeah, and also like when we truly, let's say, when we become in ourselves and when we live in our true nature, the essence, then we naturally will be moved or drawn to people, places, conditions, environments where we can blossom. We naturally will feel a call to move, like to change, to be with the people where when our soul can be like amplified and we will be in our fluorescence. We will not be drawn to, like, it's only our mind can say, oh, I need to do this because I can earn more money if I do this job. It doesn't matter, my soul wants to be an artist, but I can have more money if I do this. This is only mind, in the mind exists. But the truth is, the more we do actions from the mind, the more we contract in our system, the more we send in the DNA the constant frequency that, like, it's kind of a poison we take in every day. We bring ourselves in absolute distortion and not alignment with the Schumann resonance. That means we disconnected from the magnetic field and we can't receive anything that is really meant for us and can make us happy. It means we can be surrounded by like material success or for relationship that the mind can think, oh, I need this and this partner with this and this quality. We can feel the happy, like kind of on a relative level, we can receive, we can like kind of gain, achieve everything that we think we need, and we won't be happy. We still will feel this that something is missing. And if we feel to our soul, if we a little bit even connected, we will know. The same as you know this already. When I've been in a relationship that was perfect for my ego, and I built it, and life gave me this experience. My personality was happy, but there always was this like tiny voice, something inside me that was sometimes that voice were becoming like more loud and telling me, but this is not it. There is something that's your soul knows that's like it's not here, and you know it, and you can't be fully happy. Maybe it's 1% that is missing, but this 1% in a way is everything, and you can't pretend that it's not. And and then again, all it takes is alignment. The one action from alignment is what changed the whole structure. Maybe this change can look as a destruction at some point, but it's also, imagine somebody who will build a life that will come from false ideas. And of course, if you want to come to what's right for your soul, first it has to be destroyed. Because everything that was building from mental construction has to be destroyed, as it's not real. It's not you there. But when you start to becoming you and living from what your soul wants, you feel this inner fulfillment, and deep inside you know that even in challenges or like something on a relative level doesn't go well, you still feel this we can say happiness or fulfillment within. You still feel this feeling in the middle of the chest that's telling you that like this is true. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I often think, as we were speaking recently about this, like that, how is it everyone kind of believe in their own stories? You know, like how is it then like that my path is, for example, connected to like awakening and self-realization. But I think there's definitely a shift that happens in people's lives. I think when you get to a certain stage of kind of inner, you touch upon that city and you kind of start to feel the frequency that it operates in, then it's hard to like undo. It's hard to let go of that. Like the journey then begins and you have to then keep going, you know? But it's so strange how it happens for people. I think everyone just, it's indescribable. You're just 1 minute you're just in a normal 9 to 5, or I don't want to say 9 to 5, but normal, like kind of not thinking outside of what conditions are in front of you. And then you start to search for the bigger kind of solution to your life, which is like happiness and everything else that comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of, there you are, and you're on this kind of unique journey. It's strange. I feel it's like I question then how many people are really in connection with the frequency of like, yeah, like the resonance with the Schumann, for example. Or maybe they are, but yeah, as we know, like by the law of karma, we have all a lot of unique circumstances and situations to deal with in our life before we can yeah, like reach that inner fulfillment.
Yes, and the thing is like this, every soul has unique path, and some souls, they came now just to experience material abundance, for example, or something that for them, and that's in a way like that's fine, because not every soul came here to be awakened. But if this is what your soul came for, and then this 15th jinki is in a way essential for this transformation. And then like you will know, because you will be naturally drawn towards this, and like as like, you know, like when you know, and this is what I can say, because when you touch the essence, then again the magnitude is the gift. Let's say it's happening, it's everything is coming towards you. And just something a little bit I want to more cover about the shadow, that again there are two polarities, and one polarity will be emptiness. This is where the depression comes from. This is where we feel like the absolute, like give up on the life. Somebody who give up on the life, who doesn't want to even try, who feels the absolute like black hole. And another version would be reactive, when somebody is kind of in a fight, and the reactive nature has their violence, has their rage, has a lot of suppressed anger, and the reactive nature is kind of, it can't do anything than to fight this emptiness, to find this meaningless in a deeper way, and to find this frequency of the fear. As I said, it's not the fear we're afraid, but the feeling of the fear. And If we are in the reactive nature, we won't be able to. It's like this person can't stay in a long-term like relationships, commitments. It's always like want to destroy everything and break free, or think that it's break free, but it's just running. And in fact, it's when I listened to this, reminded me of the journey I've been going recently, when I feel like, yeah, my system was recalibrated and in fact more and more relaxing. That's why that pattern of destroying and running away came to a surface, as finally was ready to let it go and to see, in fact, that it's a very deep suffering that I was carrying, because that how my system thought I could survive is to fight and to destroy, and when in fact I can relax in peace and love. And you helped me a lot to recognize it.
Well, that's the frequency of love, what it does. Love is the only way.
Yeah, sorry. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like definitely like we can connect it to like the Schumann resonance and this like core frequency in a way. Maybe I need to reflect on that, but I think there's also like higher power, and it's also like I think maybe like you said about the masters, you kind of have to connect with that, the absolute in a way, to fully to go that direction, to go that way, but to go and connect to the absolute. The absolute, I mean, this is for me the way to dissolve and dissolve the idea of dullness, and like I don't fit into this equation, or I don't deserve to be heard, or I don't need to be in the body, or anything like this. This is nonsense. I don't want to say it's nonsense, but in a way it is, because it's like clearly the body and the incarnation has a very unique and sacred purpose, and we have to like to stay in communion with that. Maybe that is what the Schumann resonance is, but I would say it's essential.
Yes, that's this key is like, as I say, the portal is when we have enough just compassion, in fact, to stay with all the discomfort of the shadow, no matter if it's like depression and emptiness, or it's like this kind of rage and reaction and even violence in a way that's in the reactive nature of the shadow. If we can just really be with it, be compassionate with ourselves and feel it without identifying with it, then we will see that eventually this discomfort is open a portal of love and magnetism. And in fact, I felt like that was also happened when, if you remember, in Bali, when I had this like explosion moment, and you just gave me love and compassion and understanding and like deep recognition that, as I said, I felt like how the light, you're like the light of the soul, and you love, and now love, it was like in a way transmuting this darkness, because in a way like the darkness needed to be seen. Any shadow, any discomfort, the only way to transmute anything is through love and acceptance. So that's what we can give to ourselves, and that's what we can give to those who love when they go into darkness, because the love is, as we found, is the only answer and it activates the mystical path, the pathways that the mind will never be able to find or understand, because it's beyond the mind. It's beyond the reason. It's like the love exists beyond the reason. It's not like I love you because of this. So like, of course, then I can create meanings, but deeper, it's not. It doesn't have any meaning. Like I love you just because I love you, just because there is this love. That it's not even I love you, but it's just the love that is it. The same as the soul and uniqueness of the soul, and it's like the path of spirit. The same as enlightenment. There's no reason for this. So what exists is beyond the reason, we can say, is what we can find the truth, because the truth also beyond the reason. And when you feel that you're drawn towards something, or you want to do something, and deep inside you can't even find the real, like if you really ask yourself why, you know that you don't even know why, in fact it's just like this, then you know that it's truth. How does this feel?
Yeah, I mean, I keep saying, I mean, it just, I feel, yeah. I don't know, where are we, right? Are we in gift or are we studio?
Are we in all of them? Because in fact, what this key is also saying is that the gift, the shadow, and CD is one. There is no gifts. There is no shadow, gift, and CD. It's just one state of presence. It's just
Yeah.
when we're in a shadow, we don't see gift and CD. When we're in a gift, we don't see the shadow, but we use the energy of the shadow in a creative way, but we don't see the CD. But when we're in a CD, we see all the levels, but we know that it's all one.
Yeah. Oh. So we're always in the shadow. I mean, that's true. I would say, like, I mean, remember when we were in Varanasi and we went to the Kali temple, and we kind of got like blown away by this energy, because in a way we saw that, like, through darkness, through emptiness, there is birth, the whole existence. So it's kind of the same. Even, I mean, there's something to say about it when we talk about, like, the highest reality, like highest dimensions. But in a way, for example, if I speak from my own experience, when I was in absolute, like, super consciousness, there's an energy of death always, in every second, every moment is death, and eternal life, but death as well. And so there is, in a way, always, yeah, the shadow was there.
So all it takes is your trust, the process, your commitment to the process, your willingness to face everything without running away from it, and your braveness. Just as all these things it requires to be in a relationship with your true partner.
Yeah. Well, I feel it's like definitely like that for a lot of people. In fact, like, but it's just how like willing are you to see it and accept it, and like be honest with what you feel and see. And I think that's where the twin flame, or this extraordinary relationship can just ask you now to fully choose it. And maybe perhaps in, like, other kinds of connections, you're not eternally bound by it. You're not like unconditionally unconditionally like given a choice, like no choice, or unconditionally given no choice. You know, you are always given a choice. Life gives you choice as much as you want to play with the matrix. But the moment you don't want to play with the matrix anymore, then you narrow it. Kind of narrows your choices in a way to be fully give to the life itself. Fully give. No longer am I like I can kind of trying to control life. Life is now working through me.
And in fact, you can even realize that you can never control. You can pretend that you control. You can have ideas that you control, but life is always just happening. And the more you relax and the more you come into observation and let the life happen and let yourself be in your heart, the more you see that in fact there is a beauty in every moment, even when it is suffering or uncomfortable emotions. Because even with uncomfortable emotions, there is still life is like a laugh is creating a path, and it's like it's the same as choosing love, you know, or like yes, this like let's say choosing love. We choose love not for any reason, just for the love itself. The same as choosing God, choosing enlightenment. You can't choose it for any other reasons, because like choosing enlightenment is choose to death. There can't be any reason for this, just this reason itself. And you won't be able to explain it to anybody, because there is no explanation needed. It's just a call, like this magnetism, this impulse in your heart, in your being, that's creating this magnetic resonance and pull you. And what we see with this key, it's about magnitude, because in a dullness, as we said, it's a lack of polarity. It's no magnitude. There's nothing attracted towards nothing. When we come into gift, we come into the resonance of Schumann, and in fact we're more and more relaxing, we're more and more slowing down to come to the frequency of the heartbeat of the earth, because to truly in fact embody your true nature, you need not to do more, you need to do less, you need to relax. And relaxation is in fact the hardest part for all of us, because we used to live in this, like, again, ideas, thoughts, plans and everything. We forget how it is to be with the nature. That's why like this key knows that when in fact it's connected a lot also with indigenous people, because it knows that when you really connect with life, and like when we connect with nature, why we love to connect with nature, because it's not only nature, we connect with bio energy resonance. We come into alignment with the resonance of human. That's also love how it's said in this key that all the human diseases, all the sickness is comes because we're not aligned with the human frequency. Because when we're not aligned, our system is constant in the contraction and tension, and our DNA is constantly receive the wrong message. That's keeping ourselves in a negative loop, in a dullness. So all it takes is realignment. Is not another, like, I don't know, it's kind of take the distortions out. It's not another extra something we need to take. In fact, it's take out all the distortions we put in ourselves. It's like, if we want to really become yourself, you need to empty yourself first. And I think it's what you've been experiencing last year, in a way, your process of losing like the base, like their identifications you had before, and in fact is a blessing, because you truly becoming yourself first by letting go all that your mind created and it's all we go, like, it's true for everybody. When we come to ourselves, first we have to, life takes away what we thought is we, like, where we put the, like, the roots of our mind or ego with, oh, this identification. But in fact, you can truly be yourself without identifying with everything, but really experiencing yourself. This is what this key is. The program partner is 10's gene key, and 10 gene key is love to yourself, love of just being yourself. Not need to know who you are, but being who you are. And the other thing here is also, the magnetism, as I said, we come back to human resonance, and then our system is recalibrating. Then we become one with these bio-resonance fields. That means, in a way, we become a god by aligning with these bioenergetic fields that helps us to experience the high consciousness naturally, not not because of, like, I don't know, the knowledge, but because of the how we experience it itself, how we become in it. In fact, by slowing down and by realigning more instead of creating more stories and images.
Yeah, that's 100%. I agree. It's one of the things that it becomes, in fact, super powerful, and this is what we observe in, like, deep bodhisattvas and people who like yogis, people who are in absolute stillness. They are almost you can't even recognize them as human, right? Because most people is like kind of the frequencies where their brain's giving out, their nervous system's giving out is just way faster, kind of oscillation is too fast. And I mean, I'm observing this more and more and more. For example, when I'm because, for example, now when I'm doing way more practice of meditation or just observation and not doing as much, I like to talk a lot about, especially like the Rajasic energy, and this we do, in fact, like to talk a lot about this Triguna, these energies. And since definitely when we talk about what is Sattvic is probably attributed to the earth frequency. Sattva is the quality of consciousness itself. It's the step before consciousness. Consciousness would be like even beyond sattva, but it's the expression of consciousness in the nature. It's like that is sattvic. It's just the purity. It's just pure. I wouldn't even say it's pure in the sense of like, oh, it's clean, but actually it's the opposite. It's just like, it's just untouched. It's unmeddled with. It's not changed out of its ordinary state, which, in fact, the Rajasic energy that we're seeing is a lot more, can send us into for the mind, for the brain, for the cortex. It sends our brain into a state of disconnection.
Yeah. And did you finish? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would say. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. And yeah, that's what I would say, that when we it's like when you become truly who you are, you can't even say anymore who you are, because the same as I remember that some download I received when, let's say, when you truly come to enlightenment state, there is nobody anymore to claim the enlightenment or to say that I'm enlightened, like person or like teacher or like whatever, master or whatever, or like that just I'm enlightened, because it's a contradiction when you come to this state. There is nobody who can say about this. The same is what I remember I shared today. That's the recognition of, it's funny, but I can't even be in a twin flame union because there is no me who can be in this. It's a paradox. It's like it exists itself. Either I can choose to connect or not. This is a choice that I can make. But the more let's say I connect, the less there is I in it left, because the truth is there is no this identity, and then we just live a life of our soul when we say, we act what's needed in the right moment, and then say, well, that's it. That's why coming to magnetism, it needs more relaxation. And then once we experience, the funny thing, we do less, but in fact we experience more and we have more results, because we don't act from a fear or survival or from thoughts like ideas. We act from alignment. And as I said, this brings the magnetic field brings everything to us. Either it's money, either it's right people, connections, resources, ideas, creation, whatever needed, the life will bring is, because the life is abundant in its nature. This was this key is about also abundant, because the life in its nature is abundant. And all you have to do to kind of be in abundant is remember this is real line again, and found this essence when you don't need to do a lot, you need to do what is in the right alignment for you. Then it will bring everything, because this itself is creating like a vortex, like this bioenergetic field, bioresonance that brings everything towards you. And you can't, again, logically, create a pathway for this. You can just experience this and act from this and root in this more and more, to let these fields are working for you. But they happens when you are again in alignment, and when you in the right frequency, then this naturally happens. You can't make it happen. You can be like surrender, and it will happen itself. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's this is just kind of repeating what we're saying. Like we were saying this idea, it's just getting out of the head and more into like the body, coming back into just recognizing the true nature. What I see a lot is a lot of people though are just absolutely in an illusion. And like I wouldn't say, okay, it's not like an absolute illusion. It's not like they are in a psychosis or hallucination, but they are in a way it's tricky, what level, what kind of beings do I think, the souls all have lights in them. Every soul is made of light, but there's a lot of contracts that bound so many souls to different kind of things. And people make allegiance, their souls make allegiance with other things when they come into existence, and they don't anymore like choose the path of truth. And we saw this many times in the history. And in fact, if you just tune into the news on TV, I think it's very obvious that we don't choose God, we don't choose freedom, we don't choose love. Most of the time, that's what a lot of these big corporations and more the structures and the organizations behind them are choosing. You know, I think it's funny, we have this key during it's not funny, but it's interesting. We have this key during what's going on the, like, what's being shown to us on the news, if you tune in about Israel and you know, Iran and everything like this, and even just Donald Trump's war today saying fuck on the live TV. Like, can you imagine our US president, but the US president is the biggest nation and strongest, most powerful country in the world, saying fuck to, like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing, you know, and all these things. We're living in pretty out of the human resonance most of the time, and at least that's what I would say collective consciousness frequency is at. It's not at all aligned with the one, you know, the one, you know.
And you know, that's what the beauty also of this key in a way, because the one person who truly aligns with the source, creating the field that in a way gives more energy and brings more alignment, or like brings more light than like thousands of people doing a lot of things. It's like, this is how strong the light and the love and the truth is. Like it's like when you come fully in this resonance, then you itself becomes like common image now, like this fifth element, like this girl that, like the fifth element itself. It's like, this is what the power of love is. It's like, it's unstoppable, it's unshakable, the same as the truth, and it's invincible. And the life is also, this is what the key is. The being human is being, in fact, in this game, is like these different forces, and in a way we just all playing our roles, kind of. And if your role is to be the love, then it's your role. And if somebody's role to be an evil, it's their role. And it's all how divine is playing out itself. So all you have to do is just to be in your role in a way. That's is truth for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is where you know, we can talk, like, for example, as today is the last few days of being a day to celebrate Kamakya. It's it's like the Kumbh Mela, but for Shakti lineages. This is the days that have been passing. Like, it's their most auspicious time to then go to Kamakya in Assam in India and connect with the goddess. And what the goddess saying? She's saying, you know, life and death, they're no different, because they both come from the same root, which is myself, which is the creative potential, the creative force in the universe. It's always needs to transform, right? It will always keep pulling people into the vortex of transformation and of purification. That's how it self-replicates and how it regenerates. It's doing that from this kind of this eternal constant, and it's a way to reconcile. Like, it's a way to kind of accept, you know, like, there's almost a level of uncertainty always. Like, you're never truly certain tomorrow. I
Mm-hmm.
think one of the Dzogchen teachings, and why, like, for example, yeah, the Tibetan Buddhist tradition always highlighting so much the death, is because it keeps you alive. It stops you from trying to avoid the life. That the life is death. The more you try and avoid the death, the more you try and avoid life. So you have to almost accept that there's energies of life are always going to be, in a way, challenging your ego, the identity that's coming from living just generally and not fully being with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we come into Florescence. And in a way, you know, we also go in beyond the life and the death, because it's like fully embodying the emptiness, where it's becoming also the absolute fullness, and also it's like beyond everything, because the true state of the mind is beyond life and death. But it's include life and death, and the dance of the dance of polarities, because like the life and death is this polarities, we can say. In fact, I remember once something was shared that the polarity of death is the birth, like birth and death, when life is like, life is not polar to death, because life is life. The death is the portal for life, and the polarity of the death is like birth. But the life includes birth and death as a two portals, kind of, but it also goes beyond this. The same with the truth is like, oh, it's go beyond this, because the life exists, or like they say, the energy, like, you know, the consciousness is it exists even in a death, even when something died, or like means changed form, they're still alive there. It's just changed the form, or going through a transition doesn't mean that it's not life anymore there, you know, like this. I'm sure you understand what I mean. And then this key is showing us that fully accepting the dullness is activating the fluorescence. And in a way, it's activating, yeah, the connection with different dimensions, beings, but also our true nature is what we see as Shambhala or Avalon, or whatever names we had for the kingdoms that exist in different level of reality, which can't be reached until you see from the eyes of love and from the eyes of God. And you can't open this door to Shambhala, let's say, until you have pure heart. And it's not that this dimension is not here, it's here, it's always here, but to see it, you need to become it, you need to come to this stage of purity. And this is what this key is, and this is what this is what the fluorescence is. It's absolute fluorescence of your soul, whatever it means. It's like the absolute abundance, the absolute joy, the absolute diversion of life and everything that can be existed, and that the life itself, it always kind of creates and expands, and it's eternal process. The same as the love, you know, it's like, it doesn't really have limits. It's just, it's absolute constant expansion, is infinite. The same as the awareness. I remember once I watched like a webinar, and there was something like a representation of how consciousness move and go into different levels, and then it was like for 10 minutes kind of more and more and more upgraded levels, then it went into like multiverses, and then it's like going even beyond these and even beyond these, and I was like, whoa, it never stops. It feels like it's literally never stops. And it was hard for the mind to comprehend, because the mind, it wants to know, the ego is like, okay, I go to this path, but this is somewhere going to be the end, where it's like, okay, this is going to be enough. It's like, this is where I can finally identify myself and say, okay, this is it. But in the true spirituality, there is no end. It's never going to be the end. You have to go to the path knowing that it will never stop, it will never end. How does this feel?
Yeah, I mean, what you're trying to scare everyone with
You
is
come to our retreat, yeah.
the eternal reoccurrence of the same, and many people have tried to talk about this. I think only people who truly, I mean, look, everything in the nature, in fact, repeats itself. That's the law. Whatever is the core fundamental building blocks of reality, whatever that is, it will keep repeating itself, and kind of reflecting itself out into the world. So every single thing, your breath, your like daily routine, the night, the day, everything is in a way fluorescence, because everything in a way is continually reflecting the absolute potential of existence, of reality, what has always been the way, what has always been there. And you know, it's always gonna feel slightly uncomfortable if we don't just accept what it is. You know, I think I definitely had some moments like that when, you know, if you, for example, come from a more linear paradigm, like in the Christian tradition, and in the Abrahamic faith, you know, they're always speaking of like the linear time. I'm going to, you know, the time began in the Garden of Eden, and then God. And if you speak, for example, I had this conversation with one person on the plane, and she was sharing about Christianity, and you know, I then said something about reincarnation, and then she kind of went into all of these kind of mind structures and stories about it, because in her mind, it was almost like impossible. Like, how can I not be like, how can my soul have, how could God not promise me that this was the one chance I had, and if I'm just a good person and follow the laws, the principles of the Bible, then I would be liberated and everything like this. Or not, they don't even use the word liberation, they say like salvation, or you know, redemption. But it's just kind of, I feel such egregores and limiting beliefs coming through a lot of traditions and things to keep us like, yeah, in a way, not thinking, not feeling the larger truth at hand. And you know, like if we talk about my experience when I went to like very high state of consciousness, for me, the Christ showed me, in fact, all of my past lives, every single one of them, right to the beginning of creation itself. Now, maybe that's just unique to some souls, right? But it still exists for some people. I met some people coming as young souls, some people coming as ancient souls, and you know, and these kind of beings, everyone kind of, yeah, will approach this question in a different way. But it doesn't mean just because you know, my life is not showing me that life is eternally repeating itself, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Have you tried to look and see its infinite possibilities?
Yes, And what I would add to this, if there is a heaven, there's always going to be a hell. Because any extreme will create another extreme. Because extreme cannot exist itself without the polarity. Because when there's Shiva, there is Shakti. It's also the extreme versions of the same consciousness. So if it's a heaven, there is a hell. If there is Siddhi, there is a shadow. And even if the Siddhi contains a shadow and the shadow contains a Siddhi, it's still a polarity. It's still polarities. And in a way, this is also how the life itself made. It made from polarity. It's, you know, like we need polarity to make a new life, like a baby. We need the polarity. The dullness, again, coming to the shadow, is a lack of polarity, is nothing. It's like when there's no polarity, no magnetic impulses. And at the same time, the dullness is opening Florescence, where I would say when polarities merge in union, this is where we experience the higher consciousness, because it's then becomes a dance with one another, and this dance that is constantly recreating life. And I feel, yeah, this is kind of what is in the end of this key. Like Florescence is this, the constant dance of polarities that constantly create life in different forms of life. That is just in the nature of existence, it just wants to constantly expand and create, and it never stops. And all we have to do is to soften with it. And you know, I remembered now when we was like kind of sharing this story. One of my friends, she's a beautiful master, and she's in divine union herself, and she had once like kind of some psychedelic experience where she went kind of to a state of her soul, and then she felt like she just wanted to end it in incarnations, and she remembered a lot of her Buddhistic path, and she was like then she saw the Maya, the matrix, how it works, and then like it was giving everything to her and responding to all her like mind, or like consciousness. And the one, she was like screaming, "Stop it!" She said fight it for hours, just try to stop all of it, and then was stopping, but then some impulse of life was happening, and she was involving itself again, and then like stopping it again, and then fighting, and like. And her partner wasn't like watching her all the time, and then at some point she was like kind of, what the fuck, like where is the end? And he was like, there is no end. And like all you have to do truly to liberate is to accept this, that there is no end, kind of, you know, to come to and then you have to accept there is no end, because realizing of your true self is not ending anything, is coming to endless, infinite kind of possibilities of life source, and the infinite, I don't know, I mean, it's hard even to put it all in the words, like it's coming to the infinity itself. So it doesn't end. That's the thing. There is no last stop or last point or something last. There's okay, here it's enough. There is just kind of, this was also scary, at least for my mind. I can feel it's like it wants at some point to have something that, okay, this is going to be it, but the life already showed me that there's no, what I can do is to be relaxed and soft with every moment, seeing that life is just absolute mystery that constantly recreating itself, and that's it. there is no beginning and there is no end. And it's never going to be the end how mind sees the end. It's like the destination from beginning to an end. And this is like, because again, if you never was even born, how you can finish something, how you can end. You can recognize that you never was even born, and it's even beyond ending something. So I feel at this point I come into ending of this transmission, otherwise I will go too high and I don't know where I will go. I can't, it's becoming hard to put in the words the essence that's going through right now. Maybe just want to say some last sentences or something before we close this container.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think that like that's because also, yeah, the scope of, I think the scope of this key is a bit, it's not asking us to look beyond the life's infinite possibilities. If you want to know what's beyond, well, you have to stop trying to know, and it will be revealed to you when time is right. I think, you know, like there is yeah, it's a bit intense, these questions and everything, but I mean, in a way, like if you've ever had a samadhi-like experience and you completely die and everything on the physical levels, you know, then you only have you only then just have your consciousness left to explore this possibility. There's no body, there's no mind, and then at that point, then yeah, you need it's the realm of pure spirit, and well, yeah, I will not go into that realm, so it's not in the scope of this conversation today. So yeah.
Thank you for being part of it today. And something, the last word I want to say is that like the true spiritual path is starting not like when we have a promise of something that going to happen at the end. In fact, when we don't have any expectations and any promises, and we still go the path, this is where it started. The same as with love, I feel. It's just, again, for me, the same parallel. Like going to the love and like relationship and union, not for the promise of anything, but for the love itself. And each moment, and every moment, not for some future results or expectations or anything, but for this moment itself. Then this is it. And this is in fact where Florescence comes, because you're not anymore in the future, you're fully here. And from here, only from present moment, you activate magnetism, and then it's activated fluorescence.
Yeah, like just lastly to add, you know, that's it really, you know, because every attempt to know of the true essence and to really like try and understand is like a contradiction to what is the true essence. So you have to, in a way, not like, even for example, in the like there are some experiences, you know, you can have like in psychedelic. I like just this key. I speak a lot about psychedelic today because
Richard Rudd itself speak about psychedelic.
yeah, because in a way, yeah, because in a way, like it's a very contradictory thing, psychedelic. It's like, oh, but I'm in Matrix, but then I suddenly like I in like 1 hour, you know, from when you take something, or even less, sometimes at 15 minutes, you are no longer in the duality, you're in the quantum realm. But what I would say about that though is like you still come back in the end from psychedelics most of the time. I mean, there are some people who manage crazy people like wizards who manage to, or shaman, shaman also know how to work with plant medicines and things. But there are some people who can use the plant medicines to absolutely reach the final like states. But I mean, you need to be a master to do that. You need to be a master to be able to accelerate all the way to the final state and stay there, and also finish all the contracts and all your karmas and many things. Like in my experience, I might have reached the states of final states, but the life just showed me, but your soul has a mission. Your soul is still on a mission, and you sign up for it, buddy. You know what I mean? You signed up for it, man. We didn't sign you up. You signed up, so don't back out now. And this is part of being a warrior, being courageous, and you have to just accept, that no matter what, there's always, and you're always gonna have to go deeper towards. You're always gonna have to be authentically you, and you can't like pretend not to be you. And just be authentic, be yourself. Don't pretend. Pretending is only gonna separate you more. And stay in love, stay in light, stay in light.
Thank you for sharing. Like this last sentences you've been saying, they brought some memories to me. The memory of my last ayahuasca experience I did, like, was 3 years ago. It was like I said, like the hardest ceremony. Well, like 2 ceremonies, and then like normally, because ayahuasca it's normally several ceremonies. That was 2 nights in a row, and this was even the second one. And it's like I remember is like what was shown to me is like constant expansion of everything. It's like if I saw this like the pattern of the universe, and like the energy was constant expansion, and more energy coming into my system. Is like every second it was like expansion. It was never ending. And I remember at some point I asked them that I was like, please stop. I can't take more. I'm like, I just want to stop. Where is the end? And it was like and she showed me that there is no end. It can't stop, because this is just the life itself. She said, I will stop when you will see that you will fully accept that like you are me, and then like this is one. And in fact, by accepting this, you see like there's no end. It's like the ego is like, but like I can't take more. It's like if I take any more, I just don't know. I just can't. I can't kind of hold all this energy, but I don't need to hold it. Just the tour, like the constant recreation of energy fields, and it's never ending. And that was so hard for my mind, for my ego to see that it's never ending. It's just like the constant dance, and there is no end in it. And all I can do is like it's kind of seeing that every breath is a birth, every breath out is a death, and it's like endless. And if you see it from a mind, it's a dullness. It's like terrible. If you see it from a different perspective, it's fluorescence. So all you can do is choose how you want to perceive it. Do you want a little meditation, or we will just close now as it is?
I think we close, just because I wouldn't be able to do a meditation now, but
Okay.
yeah. Wow. And I didn't think this key would take us so far up here, but in a way, it's interesting to revisit a place that haven't been in a little while. So nice. Hope we didn't spook everyone,
Oh yeah, and come to our retreat.
because it can be a little bit like how it is even knowable, but you just have to trust or be taken without even any choice. This solution. Sometimes it can just happen to you, and then you hear this from a lot of people. They don't even know, like, they didn't ask for it. I didn't ask for it, but in a way, then you remember your past lives, you remember all the contracts, and then you're like, okay, yeah, fair enough. So
Thank you for being the company for today's transmission.
Thank you, transmitter of consciousness, transmitter of truth.
Okay, so on how watched. If you have any questions, you can ask. And yeah, we invite you to our retreat in September, and just to let you know that we don't plan to go that far, the retreat, but at the same time it can happen if it's the field.
I would say, like, we don't plan anything. This is a retreat of absolute new experience. There's
we have a structure, but it's just not a plan.
Yeah, it's just it's there. I think what we're trying to say is that you can have a million practices that take you wherever. Some ideas. Remember, these are just the ideas ultimately of the absolute truth. And but what can happen though is when you are in the right places at the right time with the right people and doing the right things, something magical can happen. I would say we leave it at that.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you. Love you. Okay, so and now, thank you so much.
Thank you.